Hello everyone, welcome back to the official Ryoshis Vision channel. I am your host, Creepypasta Adam, and today we have a very special video. We are having an AMA with Cryptologist. Cryptologist, how are you doing? Say hello to everyone.
Hey everybody, I'm good. How are you, Adam? Thanks for hosting this for us.
Yeah man, I'm doing good. I'm excited for this. People have been asking for it for quite a while, and it just took us a really long time to finally have our schedules line up.
Yeah, we've been bouncing back and forth for a little bit, trying to figure out when we can do this, and so I'm glad we're here now, so we can get this out to the people.
Before we get into it, if you want to just tell us a bit about yourself, what you do in the community, and what role you play.
Yeah, so again, I'm the cryptologist. I'm sure that a few of you know who I am from my Twitter rants. I'm part of the project team. I wear a bunch of different hats right now, and I think a lot of people that are on the project team and on the staff team and even our trial mods are all wearing many, many hats. But a lot of the main things that I focus on are going to be the marketing side of things, and just kind of getting out there and making certain connections that we're looking for. So if there's, certain connections that we're needing to make as far as, our Ryoshi plus music brand, our gaming side of things, I'm usually going out there and kind of making those connections, between the people. So, you could say I'm, one of the deal makers, or the chief deal maker, if you'll say. But I mean, really though, it's, the project team, we're all wearing so many hats. We are putting in so much time, without complaints, of course. We're excited about what we do. We're just kind of just doing everything right now and just kind of, building the structure. And it's been exciting so far. So, I love it.
Digging into that more, I know there's people from all over the world that you've brought in, all the way from South America, Europe. How did you go about finding everyone?
Well, I've been fortunate enough to really have some good friends and people within crypto Twitter that I've been able to meet. Some incredible people, amazing people. Whether they're people that are within other projects of the crypto sphere, or they're YouTubers, they're, an influencer of some sort, or they're just, someone that has some kind of special skill that they provide. I've been blessed enough to be able to make a lot of these connections, and to at least be able to reach out to them, and say, hey, is there someone that that you could bring in, that I could talk to, and see if we can bring them in to our community and just, provide more value. And so I've been fortunate enough to be able to have those connections. And so far, we're growing at an amazing rate. And, I don't really want to say that it's anything of my skill or my doing. I think I've just been placed in the right place at the right time with the right people surrounding me. Sometimes it's just probing what people bring, and sometimes what they bring, they don't realize that it's also the backgrounds and the connections that they bring with themselves as well. You talk to somebody and they'll tell you, man, I don't know what I can provide. I don't know what I can do. And as you start to probe what they do, you find where they fit in, how they can help. And then sometimes you start to find like, hey, this is, because of what you do in life or what you do in your work, some other people that can also help us and provide some kind of special skill. And so at the end of the day, it ends up kind of being, kind of a people person type of job, for lack of a better term. Yeah. And just really talking to people and reading into people, getting to know them. And you really start to kind of pull out the best in people, really, if you just kind of just talk to the person and listen to them.
Man, it's awesome that you actually take the time to see into a person and bring out that potential. I love it. What was the process like writing the white paper? Like, how did everyone come together to make it happen, being on such crazy time differences? Just trying to set the time aside for this was hard enough.
Well, it was interesting to say the least because, we were kind of on a self-imposed, deadline that we were trying to meet, something that kind of had been promised to the community. And we were just making sure that we wanted to meet that, but also in the way that we provided quality. Because to us, we don't want to rush anything if it takes any kind of quality away from what we're doing. Because, in that sense, we're not giving the best to our community. So, with that said, we had the goal of getting it done in September. When in September, we had no idea, honestly. We just knew that it needed to be in September. And this is I'm being a little bit more candid now that it's over. Of course, people were asking, is there a certain date that you have in September? And of course, I saw some in the chats, some people had speculation as to, they're going to release it this day because of this reason. And they're going to release it on the end of the month because this reason. But
yeah, I was one of those people like, hey, anyone know when this is coming out? I might have to make a video for it. So.
Right. And so we're talking to each other as well. And, of course we had certain dates, that we were kind of throwing around, would it be mid-month? Let's try to have it done no later than X date. So then we can let the marketing people get all the material together and start getting all the promotional stuff. Cause we needed to plan the giveaway, our digital material, our video material that we were doing at the same time. So we needed, to allocate enough time to be able to have the whole team look through the white paper and just kind of really start to prepare your marketing for it. So there was a certain kind of internal deadline we had for ourselves for it to be done. After that, we're just going to kind of go from there and see what date we ended up releasing it. And at the end of it all, we're like, you know what? Let's just do September 30th. That's going to give us plenty of time. We'll still get it done in September. We could probably do it before then, but just to make sure that we really provide, the best quality, let's just give ourselves a few more days. At the end of it all, 6 months from now or a year from now, those few days aren't going to make much of a difference, whether you release them earlier or later. So, I think it ended up being great, and we were happy the way that it turned out.
Yeah, there's so much work that people don't consider. Like, not only does it take time to create the white paper, but you're posting on social media, you're creating marketing.
Yeah, and there were a lot of hours being put in, and that's really how we made it happen. I mean, you're talking about 4 or 5 hour sleep days, long nights. And, the tough thing is working on different time zones as well. So you've got people that are on the western side of the world, and you've got people that are on the eastern side of the world, and people in between on our team. And we're just trying to find the best time. So, one person would pop off and say, hey, I got to go to sleep, get a little bit of sleep. And then the rest of us would continue working. And then a few hours later, you see that person again and good morning. You just went to sleep a few hours ago. Good morning. And then, we're just kind of passing the baton on, for these 2 months essentially. And at the same time, dealing with building the whole structure of, our mod team, and the internals and all that, and just our social media set up. And so there was a lot that was going on, at once.
That is an insane amount to handle at once. All of that stuff takes time. But the way people see it is that, well, they just sit there and they just have to write this one paper, so why should that take so long?
Right. And, and also trying to, have our faces, pop into the community from time to time. We didn't want to disappear as well, because that'd be another easy thing to do, just disappear into your work and never be there, present within the community. So we had to allocate a little bit of time for that. And we kind of took turns on that as well.
Okay, so before we talk about the white paper, can you catch everyone up that might be new to the Ryoshi community on the accomplishments that we've made so far?
Well, I think we're at the time of this recording, I think we're very close to surpassing 12,000 holders, and that's just in over a little 2 months. Our launch was August 7th, and it's October 13th, and we are less than 100 holders away from hitting 12,000, which to me is an amazing achievement. And I posted this on Twitter the other day, just kind of putting things into perspective of where we are as a token, where, with the amount of holders that we have right now And the token, ranking count that we're on CoinMarketCap, which at the time when I checked, it was around, 2,800. And we had moved up so many spots, within the last few days. And so, I put things into perspective for people like, hey, think about this. We're running on an Ethereum network where we are not listed on any centralized exchanges at the moment. So everyone who is purchasing is getting all the fiery arrows of all the Ethereum gas fees thrown at them when they're looking to purchase. And, we get some of these screenshots of how much, some of these gas fees are, some of the miner fees. And you're talking about $300, $400, $500 sometimes. And it's insane. And so, here's to crossing our fingers for Ethereum 2.0, and Shibarium. But, it's insane. And somehow we're still growing our holder count and at a very fast pace. You look at some of these other blockchains and I don't want to call out another blockchain or single anybody out just, in a detrimental way, but, some of these other coins and other blockchains have, virtually no gas fees. And of course, that's great for them. That's a great service that they're providing. And I don't mean that in a detrimental manner. That's a plus side of going through some of those blockchains. But that's not an advantage. Yeah, that's not an advantage that we get to enjoy right now. So everyone that's purchasing is purchasing at higher gas fees, and you're having to kind of wait certain days, certain hours in the day to try to catch some lower gas fees. So even with that, we're surpassing some of these other tokens that have virtually no gas fees, that have been around much longer than we have. And we're still growing. We're moving up in the charts. We're moving up in the rankings, and our holder count is growing.
With all that in mind, it's crazy to think what will happen in the future.
Exactly. So, we've grown to that size, our all-time high. Within our first few weeks, we had surpassed approximately $106 million in market cap, which, again, for a new project is amazing. And so it's been incredible, man. It's been such a fun and amazing run, and something incredible to be a part of. And all the while, we've been burning an incredible amount of tokens because there's just been so much volume that's come in. And, we got almost record timing CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap listings, within I think the third day, I think we were on CoinGecko, and I think the ninth day, we were on CoinMarketCap already. I still see some tokens that are still struggling to get on that deserve to be on there. I'm not saying that we're any better or anything, because some of these tokens that I follow absolutely deserve to be on there, and they've just kind of struggled to get on there. So, we're very thankful that we've gotten the kind of attention that we've gotten so far.
The way you guys went about releasing the token was pretty awesome. So with most new tokens, they put them up and they ask for money to launch. But instead of that, you guys did the opposite and said, hey, we're going to give tokens out for free on Shibaswap. You gave money instead of asking people for money.
Yeah. It was definitely unconventional, to say the least, the way that we launched. We kind of did it a little backwards, comparing ourselves to some other tokens where by the time they launch, they've got their white paper, they've got their website up, which looks really good. They've got their marketing materials, and, we were kind of operating on nothing really at launch other than just community faith.
And not only that, but it was successful.
Yeah. And so, we launched again, we had no white paper. Our website, was nothing to write home about. We had some people that were saying, hey, man, I buy, but your website looks like it's a rug pull. So you guys got to fix this stuff. And, you'd look at it and you're like, yeah, I mean, you're right. If it were me, if I knew nothing about this token, I'd look at this thing and be like, man, they're about to take my money and they're about to run off with it. So those are some challenges that we had to face in the beginning. But again, somehow people had the faith and they came to the project, and we were growing and we were having fun. And, fortunately now we've got our white paper out. I put out my Medium blog post that kind of gave the next steps, and we're rolling.
Yes, anyone listening that has not read that Medium post, link is in the description. Reading through that is a must. Alright, so now into some white paper questions. There's a lot of talk in the white paper about the foundation being community first. Can you talk a little bit about why that is so important and how it shaped things?
Well, we understand that of course, our community is amazing, and we're very appreciative of what they have entrusted in us so far and entrusted in each other. I don't want to take from that either. They are very trusting of each other, and what you see in our Discord and our Telegram, the energy there is nothing short of amazing. How they kind of lift each other up. When it's moving up, they're excited. When, it's moving sideways, or if it's going down, then they're, kind of keeping each other with spirits lifted and just saying, hey, hold baby, just doing some great work with each other. So, we understood that community is always going to come first, because the growth of this project and the hope in this project is all, put into the foundations that we're building with this community. And to anyone that's just coming in, or anyone who's thinking about coming in, I ask you to just hold with us and grow with us. If there's anything that you feel like you can provide, that you can help with, we always encourage you to take it upon yourself as well. You don't have to be part of staff or project team. We always encourage people to take, some responsibility on themselves, and whatever they feel like they can help, by all means do it. And we're always here to help and promote. So, with that said, we understood community first. This is how we're going to grow. And, we understood that through this and our community, we're going to be able to, get out there and disrupt some of these industries that we're looking to disrupt. We feel like we can do that with this community, with the project team that we have. We really feel like we can get in there and shake some of these things up. Our vision paper, really had to convey that. We talked as a team and said, we're going to put the roadmap on the vision paper. What are we going to put in there? And we decided as the team, let's put, not to sound cliche, but let's put the vision on there, and let's leave it mostly with what our vision is. Because with whatever we put out there, whether it be a roadmap, whether it be a Medium blog post that talks about next steps, people will always be able to go back to that vision paper and see what our foundations are, to see what is shaping our thoughts and our plans.
Tell us about the Bone website a little bit. How does it work? Like, what sort of information is on it?
So, yeah, we're pretty enamored with the Watch the Burn website. It's for Ethereum, of course. And we thought that, man, that's such a cool concept. People just love talking about the burn to begin with. And we were always having these questions. How much, has been burned so far? How much are we burning now? A few days later, same people asking again, how much have we burned so far? How much are we burning right now? And of course, you had people kind of calculating on their own, what's the 1% on this and 1% on that. So we talked, and Chef had the great idea of, let's make a burn website just like Watch the Burn. I think people will love it. It'll be something visual. It'll be another utility. I think that we can do something special with it. And of course, we loved it. And he really hit a home run, and he did a great job with the website. So, Chef, if you're listening to this, and yeah, you better be listening to this, thank you. You did a great job. Yeah, he's got some more plans, some that we've talked about, some that he won't tell us about because he wants it to be a kind of a surprise for the project team as well. You know what? We're kind of the same way with him, because I'm like, Chef, I can't tell you that much because, we have the nickname for him that he's Leaky Chef. He likes to give some hype to the community, and it's fun, of course. But sometimes I got to tell Chef, I'm like, man, I'm going to stop telling you some of the stuff we're working on. I know you're a project team admin, but man, like, I'm afraid that you're going to say the wrong thing to the wrong person one day. So, but yeah, jokes aside, he's done a great job, and he's got some more utility plans for the website. So he's not done with it, but so far it's been great. You're able to see the most recent transactions. I think it's the 10 most recent transactions. You're able to see the total balance burned, the balance of the dead wallet, the rewards wallet, which I think right now is at like 19.5 trillion. And then the circulating supply, which has just been going down and down, in a good way. And, you're able to see the amount burned per transaction in a graph bar. And it's nice to see some big yellow candles on here on this bar graph, because it just means the bigger burn. So it's pretty cool. I like it.
Link for the Bone site is in the description. Go check it out if you haven't.
Yep, RyoshiBurn.com.
What can you tell us about the music and games part of the white paper?
Not too much. Somebody asked me that earlier, and And I was like, well, I'm partly involved in some of this stuff because, like I said, I'm out there kind of, making connections out here. But, for the most part, it's not my wheelhouse. So I don't want to say too much, because I think, they'll kick my butt if I say too much. But I think that
then they might start calling you Chef Junior.
Right. And so I think the philosophy behind our gaming, is something I can give. It's kind of the same as, the philosophy behind our music brand. And of course, that is, getting into an industry and not creating a platform just to be another, platform out there, to be another thing just to say, hey, look, we've got utility, just to show that you've got some kind of utility. But it's really something with a purpose. So in this sense, in the gaming side of things, it's not going to be just to create another game. It's not to be, the end all is, hey, look, we're blockchain and we're in gaming. Our philosophy is let's break up some of what's going on in this gaming industry and the same thing that's going on with the music industry. I don't think the gaming industry is as cutthroat as the music industry, but it still does need, some help and some shaking up. But at the same time, it's, hey, let's bring blockchain into it. Let's bring some good games into there because I'll be frank, a lot of the games that are out there right now with NFT because it's so new are just, hey, this is my personal opinion, not the tokens or the project teams. It's just a lot of them just aren't very good. And that's just me being transparent and candid. And I think, a lot of it's because it's so early. So we just don't have a lot of games to pick from. So we said, hey, we want to put, number one, a really good game and, games out there. But at the same time, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It sounds like the games part of the project is going to be almost a project by itself and taken really seriously to make sure it's quality.
Yes. So, just like how our token is set up, we've got our work groups that are split into different projects. And the gaming side of things is its own project with its own team. And of course, we're still growing that team. So, if you've got an interest and you're listening to this and you feel like you've got some special skill that you can help out with that, please feel free to reach out to the team. But yeah, it's going to have its own utility. And we're interested in bringing people that aren't into crypto at all, into crypto, that like gaming, making it easy for them to be able to, for example, make in-game purchases through crypto, making an easy bridge for them to take their fiat and convert it into crypto, incentivizing them into using our token, right? Whether that looks like, hey, you can make this in-game purchase through fiat, but if you purchase through this, Ryoshis Vision token, we'll give you either more of whatever you're trying to buy or, we'll give you a discounted rate. So you can buy the skin or you can buy this map for cheaper if you buy through the token. But at the same time, making it easy for them to do that. Because, if you don't make it easy for them and you're telling them, hey, you're going to pay more if you pay through your fiat, and, of course, that just kind of leads to some frustration. So we want to make it easy for them too. And of course, integrating just awesome utilities and technology like NFT, give players ownership of the things that they buy. And I talked about it in the Medium post, how that looks like, for someone to be able to own these assets that they've purchased and to be able to resell it and make their money back, or resell it and make some more money. And I think there's so many cool use cases with NFT in gaming that I think people don't even think of.
Dude, that is nuts. It brings back the ability to sell your old games to get something else instead of buying it through like an online console store, and then once you're done with it, it's just pretty much worthless.
Right. I think it'd be cool if you can take your game and you can make more than $2 at a GameStop. For the game that you owned, Yeah, I think gamers deserve, and it's time for them to be able to take their game and resell it, peer to peer to someone else. They have to take it to GameStop and say, hey, I know you paid $60 USD, a year ago. So we'll give you, $3.50 for it. And, you're just kind of forced to kind of do it that way or try to sell it online, which is...
And then all the GameStop does is just throw your old game in the trash anyways.
Yeah, exactly. And they're throwing it in the trash anyway. But, even thinking about it in terms of, hey, let's say that you created this map in this world, using open source code, and you kind of developed a map. Well, I would think it'd be cool for that particular player to own that map. I mean, they created it, right? And so to be able to say, hey, I minted this map, I own it, and I'm going to own it as long as I want to. But if you want to buy it, it's for sale. And you can be the true owner of this amazing, say, Minecraft server that is modeled after, whatever other game or whatever. And And so I think it would be cool for them to be able to own that, truly own it, and say, hey, I think I'm kind of done developing it. I want to sell it to the highest bidder, and they can continue to develop on it, or they can continue to run the server. Or I want to be able to take this in-game item that I own, and I want to be able to take it to another game that has similar source code. And because I own the NFT, I can take that to a different game. So these are things that we're looking at. These are things that we're evaluating. And, we've got some incredible developers, and we've got some incredible community members that are in development and coding that, we're just kind of, brainstorming all these ideas and kind of testing a few things out.
This is going to bring the value of games back up a lot. And I don't mean like just the cost of games, but just the bang for your buck you get when you buy a game. Okay, I don't know how much we can get into this question, but do we have any details about how the NFT platform will work?
I will say that we have pretty much come up with the name that we're thinking. We haven't completely closed off other options. We're still kind of looking at some of the names that were brought in, but there were a few that were thrown out there that were ones that actually happened to be ones that we had already written down. And so we thought that was pretty cool. I mean, to the T, some of these names that people threw in there, we looked at that like that's exactly what we've got written down, just kind of ideas that we had to sketch down. As far as the NFT platform itself, there's not much I can say on it. I will say that according to how our concerts platform is being developed, it's going to be a very easily translatable marketplace that we can launch just because of how our concert platform is being done, which is essentially an NFT marketplace in itself. It just has a specific utility rather than being, just an open marketplace for NFTs. So it'll be pretty easily translatable. And we're excited that we're going to have something like that pretty soon.
I can't wait, man. Next question. Is there any information about how the DAO will work that you can share?
Right now, it's in development. Again, certain different methods of deployment are being evaluated, but I will say that it's very high on the priority list as far as, what we have in a timeline, internal timeline on what we want to have launched. It's very high because I think we want DAO to pretty much run everything that we can have it run within our utilities. So we've got a good team working on it, and they're just kind of going back and forth on deployment on it. And once we can get it deployed, I'm pretty confident that we'll see that it's going to govern, pretty much our platforms moving forward.
So that will launch soon to make sure the community has involvement as all of the other projects roll out.
Yes, and again, going back to the vision paper and our philosophy there, and as a no pun intended, but as our vision, it's important for us to have that be at our core, which is just the community making the decisions, the community running what our platforms, how our platforms run once we deploy them.
So does that mean we're going to see a new platform coming out really soon?
From the time of this recording, I know that the word soon gets thrown around a lot, but I think we're almost at the stage of where you can hold your breath on our next platform launching, which of course is going to be the concerts platform. So right now, I don't want to say it's at the, don't hold your breath, but we're pretty much at the, okay, you can almost start holding your breath because we're close to launching the concerts platform and then kind of our next utilities after that.
Here's a good question that I've been wondering about as well. The rewards on Shibaswap go for 20 weeks. What happens after the 20 weeks?
Yeah, so the Shibaswap developers actually are owners of that wallet, and I'm not sure, how people in the community are about that. They own that wallet. We gave that wallet to them and said, here, take ownership of the wallet. We're going to distribute these rewards into this pool, and this is what we would like to be done. Of course, and the Shibaswap developers have been so gracious to work with our requests. If something's just not possible, of course, they'll say, hey, just logistically or for whatever reason, this isn't possible. But we've been going back and forth with them and, our developers to their developers on utilities and what are the next steps. So we're still kind of working out what it's going to look like post the 20 weeks. And we've got a good general idea based on the guidance from the Shibaswap devs. Because again, like I said, they are working with us. They do listen to the requests that we have and consider them. So, as of right now, I think we're kind of still evaluating some things, but our main goal is to always make sure that we are providing some kind of rewards in whatever sense that looks like to the ex-SHIB holders, to Shiba holders, because, that was part of our foundations as well, was kind of honoring the original Ryoshi's vision and the original token that Ryoshi founded, and always saying the thanks and giving the thanks to them and giving back to them. So whatever it is, it's always going to look in that form or fashion as a kind of a thanks.
Okay, that's good news. I think a lot of people were worried that the rewards would just stop after the 20 weeks.
Right, yes. It's there to stay, and there'll be some sort of benefit to our SHIB community that we love so much. There'll always be some kind of benefit that we can give back to them.
Awesome, thank you. Next one, what sort of topics will be voted on when the DAO is released?
In a general sense, I'll say that it'll be, as broad as future utilities, right? Whether it's you're able to bring up project ideas or you're able to vote on future utilities, because it kind of ties back into a project incubation as well. So once we get started on that, once we start evaluating, projects that are brought in from within the community, I think the idea is that we'll take some of those, we'll see if they're feasibly implementable, and then take that and take it to the community and say, hey, let's vote on these. Because, of course, they're going to take time, they're going to take resources. So in the best interest of the community, we got to make sure that whatever we're doing is going to actually be a benefit for us. So we'd like, of course, the community to have a say in that. So we'll take that back to them and let them vote on some of those things. But in a more specific term, it'll be within the utilities itself. I'd like to say, certain platforms are going to be raising funds themselves. For example, in our gaming, let's say that we're making money off of in-game items that we're selling. So, of course, we'd like to have that, sent to either a project wallet or a wallet in itself. And we'd like to be able to give the community, a say in where that goes or how that's going to look. Do we want that to go back into the growth of the game? Do we want that to go back in a form of rewards for our holders? And of course this isn't concrete yet, so don't take what I'm saying as gospel. But those are the types of ideas that we would like to give to the community vote on.
One thing I was wondering is, will we be able to vote on gaming content? Like before new skins or something like that comes out, will the community be able to vote on it?
Yeah, sure. So that goes back to decentralization, right? And kind of changing what we're seeing in some of these industries, giving more voice to the people. And, of course, there are pros and cons of each approach, but, we still think that giving the voice to the people that are actually using the platform is what needs to happen. So if that's what it needs to look like, if that's what the community says, this is important to us, then, of course, we'll evaluate that and we'd like to give that to them. If that turns out to be something that's not as important to them, then we won't need to do that. If they like what they're seeing so far, we'll just leave it at that. Or if they're starting to voice that they'd like to have a say in that, which to me, as a gamer as well, that would make sense to me, right? I mean, if I'm playing, I want to see what's coming up in the next season's pass. I want to be able to have some kind of say in voting what's important. And if the community as a whole is voting on that and liking that, then it just makes sense that the game's going to continue to go well and the game's going to continue to grow because we're providing the actual gamers what they want to see.
With how willing the team is to listen to people's ideas and to help them bring them to life within the project, do you think that will help change people's mindsets from being entitled to being empowered, or maybe from feeling like they can't pursue their projects to feeling empowered to make it happen?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got some great ideas that have been funneled in so far. And, of course, to the best of our ability and our resources in the group, we're going to try to do it. Of course, we're still a growing project team. We're not, we're not made of money either. And we're not made of time, so there's limit on resources and time. But as we grow, I hope that we can continue to get better at being able to provide these ideas and these requests that the community has. So yeah, we encourage people to, come up with their ideas. And of course, we encourage them to, again, I've said this before, just to take ownership. And if you want to be able to do it yourself, by all means do it. And if you've got any questions or you need any assistance on whatever you want to do, but you want to keep it as your project, we'd be more than happy to provide whatever help that we can provide. Burning, of course, is just, you're pretty much locking the liquidity away. You're putting it in a wallet that just is inaccessible, forever. And so you're essentially removing it from the circulating supply, never to be put back into the circulating supply. Because of course, if somebody makes a purchase, they're removing it from the circulating supply, but it's in an open wallet and, it can always be sold later. But of course, as more people own, the price goes up. As more people put back into the market, the price fluctuates down. So in a burn, you're essentially removing it forever, guaranteed, and lock it away in that wallet, never to be sold again. And then, of course, in a staking system, you're locking the liquidity to that project, essentially to be, giving it to that project to be used, for them to use it. And you're receiving rewards for basically giving it to that project and saying, here, I'm going to lock my liquidity away. And it's not any kind of time lock or anything. It's just saying, hey, I'm going to put it here. And the project says, hey, while you're keeping your liquidity locked with us, because of course liquidity is important to a project, while you're keeping your liquidity locked with us, we're going to give you X amount of rewards. And so, yeah, that is important to us in some sort of fashion that we want to deploy it, because I think that passive income was important to Ryoshi. Ryoshi did talk about that in, the original Medium blog post. It makes sense to me. I personally receive staking rewards from different tokens that I own, and being able to receive passive income without having to touch your principal is, a smart thing to do financially as well. Whether that's because it hasn't hit your price target yet, you're just holding until it hits that certain price target. Or if you say, hey, I don't think I ever want to sell it. I think I want to pass this down to kids, to family, or I just want to hold it because I just am confident it's going to continue to grow. And I'm just going to just touch my staking rewards and I'll enjoy the benefits of earning my passive income. So that's important to us. And, we want to deploy that in some fashion. And again, that's all being evaluated as well. What's the best way that we can do that for the people?
I love the idea of staking with crypto. To try and put it lightly, I guess, banks aren't the greatest. Banks don't really give you anything and they just hold on to all of your money.
Yeah. Well, banks suck. Yeah, let's be real. Banks suck. Some of them are better than others, but at the end of the day, a bank is a bank is a bank, right? And yeah, and I've always told people my goal is to be bankless, just to get away from banks, and they know that, and this is why they feel so threatened by what is happening with crypto and DeFi. And so I think it's been nothing short of amazing in how DeFi has exploded last year and this year. And I'm excited to see a lot more of the protocols that come. It'd be exciting to see if, ever able to dip our toe in that water. I think it would be pretty cool. That's me personally. I think that trying to get away from the banks is a noble thing to do for people.
So I guess someone asked if there are reasons to buy Ryoshis even though they just give it away for free on Shibaswap.
Well, sure. I mean, it's so cheap to buy Ryoshi right now still. I don't know the exact prices off the top of my head, but I know that buying 1 billion Ryoshi still now is, $100 or a few $100 or something. And so, you'd be buying very early on, because I think that the rewards are great, but, 1%, receiving 1% rewards may or may not be a life-changing amount. I don't know. Everybody has their own personal financial goals and what they need. But I think that if you're looking to get in early on a project that I have no doubt that is going to be much larger in the future than it is now, then yeah, you're able to get in pretty early on right now. And so, of course, there's other benefits as well, things that we've touched on already as far as, possible staking in the future, being able to vote in DAO, because of course, the more that you own, the more voting power that you have. So yeah, there's plenty of benefits. And of course, if you want to use any of our platforms that we launch, whether it's gaming or music, then of course, you're going to want to own Ryoshi to receive the benefits of paying, for whatever goods or services we provide through Ryoshi.
So here's one that I've been extremely curious about. So after the initial 10 artists are released, will you sign another group of artists? And if so, how often? And one thing I want to know personally is, how did you guys even get connected with these 10 artists in the first place?
Well, right now for the protection of the artists that are signed up, I can't go into too much details, but I can tell you that, it was a partnership that was formed with a company called Strong Media LLC. We talked with them, with the artists, and, they loved the idea, they loved the vision, and, they came on board and, excited about who we have on board and partnership that we've formed. As far as how future artists will be picked, from my understanding, from the team that's working on the concerts platform, is that we would like to have it DAO-based. Of course, this first run of 10 artists is going to speak a lot to what the future of it's going to look like. It's not necessarily going to be a dry run, but it's definitely going to be our first test to see how this platform is going to do. I'm confident it's going to do great, but I think it will help us kind of identify best practices after that. But I think that we would like to have it DAO-based, to have the artist picked. But of course, don't quote me on that, but I know that that's some of the conversations that have been had.
All right, man. That's all the questions. Before we go, is there anything else you want to tell us, or you want to plug your social medias? Just go for it, man.
Well, I think that I've said everything that I can without getting in trouble with the rest of the team. And maybe I've been given a little bit more than I could have, but that's okay. But man, I'm excited. Thanks for hosting this, and thank you to the community for asking these questions. I think it would be cool if we can do this. I don't know how regular of a basis we can do it. Some of the different project team members answer some of these questions. So yeah, if you've got questions, keep them coming. We'd love to answer what we can, and we love hearing from all of you. Yeah, as far as shameless plug goes, if you don't mind putting my Twitter at on an octopus, that's my only form of social media really that I can connect with people. So I love connecting with people from the community. I've got I've got a Reddit, I was kind of forced to be part of the community Reddit from the mods, and said, no, you're gonna be on this as an admin. And I was like, all right, I'll have my Reddit on there, but I don't really use it much other than just to kind of check in. So my only form of social media really is through my Twitter. And so, yeah, shameless plug. Follow me on Twitter.
Awesome. Big thank you, Cryptologist, for joining us today. I hope this got a lot of you guys' questions answered. If you still have more questions, go ahead and leave a comment down below. If you're in the Discord, you can go ahead and tag me in your question at CreepyPastaAdam. Make sure to go in the description and follow all of the socials to stay up to date on all of these big things coming. And that's everything I have, guys. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next one.